9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Oh, yes. And I know it's usually the councilman, but never fear, your sweetest oos is here. Queen B of WWT, Wrestling with Honey here, guys. So happy to be here. Thank you for joining us on this yet another lovely edition of Friday Night WWT Live, and we are going to get into so many things, but of course you never know, we don't do this alone, especially when the parents are out the house. Shout outs to the parents on the road in Bahamas for All Caribbean Wrestling. Shout outs to our sponsors. They're going to have an amazing event this weekend, and the kids got to make sure everything's held down in the fort, make sure the house is clean and everything's taken care of, and making sure everything is in order. So joining me, I have here our other esteemed elected official, my tag team partner, my most electrifying tag team partner in digital entertainment. Councilman Farrow is with us
It's Councilman Will Farrow of Strattonville with his Parisiac constituents.
What's up, Councilman? How we doing on this lovely Friday?
Oh man, it's been a rough week. Not even a rough week, long week, but Friday. Today though showed it looks like it's gonna be a great weekend.
Absolutely.
I think Joe Hendry is doing a rap battle.
Oh my God. In the city. That's right. Joe Hendry is in town and he is in the tri-state doing his damn thing. But how are you feeling, Councilman? Are you ready for yet another day of wrestling?
Oh yeah. This is my favorite part of the day on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. So I cannot wait to get into it with the constituents and of course the rest of this esteemed panel of ours tonight.
Absolutely. And joining us, and I'm not sure why I don't know, maybe the boss lady held on to the intro, but I don't see her intro anywhere. But we do have the professional, the elitist of all elite, Miss Stone Cold Courtney Rice in the house. She is your go-to for all things AEW, and I know she had some wonderful watch-alongs this week, and has yet another for tonight for Dynamite. Courtney, how are you, my love?
I am good. I can't complain. And actually, we did do a watch along Wednesday. If you did not watch my watch along Wednesday, well, you might have to see. You missed it. It was really fun. But it's Friday. I'm here. I'm ready to talk SmackDown.
Yes, girl.
And a tribal chief is coming along with Mr. Jimmy Uso. So they're going to be on SmackDown tonight. So, and also we make it a mystery tag team tonight on SmackDown.
Oh yes. We're going to get into so much of that, especially this evening. But of course, we have one more joining us, and he is definitely a part of this WWT family. He's one of the Sibs hanging out with us here from All Star Fandom. Mr. Dion is in the house. What's up, brother?
How's it going? These days, or these 6 o'clocks Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are like the highlights of my week after work. Just getting home and be like, all right, take the dog out, talk to the wife, come here.
Yes.
Hey, y'all got pets?
This is our safe havens. I have a pet.
Nah, I don't have a pet.
Yeah, I have a Pomeranian Husky. She's like a fox-sized wolf.
Yeah, I just want a monkey, but nobody will sell me a monkey.
Have you not seen that show Chip Crazy on Max?
Nah, I want the one from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
the one that never died.
Yeah, that one. I want that one. His name would be Sebastian Tailfeather.
I love it, and I apologize, Dion. Forgive me. I'm so rude, but
it's Dion from at All Star Fandom.
Quite frankly, you need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks.
I think that video is hilarious, just strictly for the irony of being the final boss 1 minute and then being Cody Rhodes the next minute. I think that's hilarious.
I can't help it, man. I'm
complicated. It's about balance, like all things should be, as you know, in the words of Thanos, of course.
But then I just want to play that Scott Steiner clip right after.
You know what?
Oh man! Oh god!
You know what? It's funny you say it.
Unfortunately,
pick a side.
God, that was such a bad punch. That was such a bad punch.
Thing is, I think I went back and watched a few of those. I think he was waiting for Goldberg the entire time, and he knew that wasn't Goldberg.
You know, that wasn't Goldberg.
Somebody getting hit with this pipe tonight. That's all.
Yeah. Indeed. And shout outs to everybody already in the chat is quite active in here. Jordan Kirby, good to see you. The real DM Hunk, our producer from the future, Dylan Matthews in the house. Always a pleasure. Let's see here. Easy Not, thank you. Of course, you know it's a house party when the parents are away. Patchy, thanks for joining us. Jeffrey, as always, love the love. Boza, Eric, Isaac, Sage D, y'all are really active today. Special little nobodies. Everybody's up in here. Joe, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. Yes, I see a lot of Motor City comments here, and we are going to get into that. But first things first, we have some wrestling news. And one of those things that had come out this week was Uncrowned Combat has named its top men's and women's pro wrestling's pound for pound rankings. And take a look at these rankings, guys. Quite a hefty list on both sides, if I might add. Maybe one or two changes to the list that I would possibly state, but I'm sure we could get right into it. So let's have a debate, guys. I'll leave the floor open to anybody who wants to speak first. What do we think of the current men's pro wrestling and women's pro wrestling pound for pound rankings from Uncrowned Combat?
I think I got another company that I need to sit down and have a meeting with, because for some reason, we just like disrespecting my client for some reason. Why? How was Roxanne Perez not on the top? This is bullshit.
I totally get your frustration, but she is very close at 11 according to their rankings. That's saying a lot.
PWI give it the same number. Like, what is going on?
Here's a question from that list. Who do you take out?
If you ask me personally, I would say Mariah May.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mariah May hasn't scratched the surface as far as like her title reigns and going pound for pound in pro wrestling. She is giving it, and she's doing her thing now, and especially with the whole storyline with Toni Storm. But I feel like you could replace one and move Roxanne to 10.
It's a travesty that my client, the timeless one, is not on the list.
That's
come on. And Mariah May made it?
That's an atrocity. That's kind of an atrocity.
And also, how come Swerve is not on the men's list? That's the one thing I need to do. How come Swerve Strickland?
I don't know how Sheamus is there, honestly.
Yeah, that's I'm sure this is due more to, of course it's obviously more than just championships. I think it's also about the relevancy and how hot they are and the popularity causing everything like that and impact. But I get it. Listen, I'm not saying that this is my list. There were some things I would change about it. But all right, let's start with the women's, of course, because ladies first. Is this list pretty valid though, besides, of course, without the councilman's frustrations of Roxanne Perez not being on this list, but with those that are on this list, is there anything you would change out of this top 10?
I feel like all y'all would want to change one of these, because you said Rhea Ripley should be the highest paid woman, yet she never is hitting number one on these lists. So that kind of just strengthens my argument.
Well, I'm trying to be a good hostess. Damn it. You guys, it's bad enough Mercedes is at number 3. Like, I got to deal with poking the bear.
That's the thing I got to ask about this. What is the criteria for these, and why would she be number 3? Because even like, just taking jabs at Rhea, I would definitely say Rhea has had a bigger year than Mercedes Moné.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Australia
I
show was
think
this year, right?
yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah,
This past March at Perth. But I mean, you guys let us know in the chat what you guys think as well. Is there anything you guys would change about these lists? Honestly, I think especially with number 1 being Liv Morgan, I definitely think that's saying a lot about her growth. So shout outs and congrats to Liv Morgan for making number 1 and being a girl from Jersey. Shout outs.
Yep.
I totally think that the fact that Liv Morgan is number 1 is definitely a jab in the face to a lot of those Liv Morgan haters from earlier in the year. And, with all the mid Morgan comments and stuff like that, I really, really believe that she has come into her own finally. And then, of course, inserting herself in one of the hottest storylines and, with the person that gets the most heat. Latino heat, Mr. Dominic Mysterio, and beating Rhea Ripley twice in the same year. That's kind of a big deal. And to be able to be a defending champion and still reigning and still being on top and being the hottest commodity in women's wrestling, according to this list. I want to go to this comment here, and I'm going to pose this question to Courtney. Courtney, do you agree with Joe questioning the fact that why is Io Sky number 10, or does she deserve to be a part of this list?
I think given the nature, because earlier this year and even last year, she came in as women's champion. And even though she had that feud with Bayley, a lot of people did see her as underrated as a champion, because I feel like her and Bayley didn't get much attention than it did Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania. So that was kind of a little bit underrated. But a lot of her matches that she had, they were really top notch, because anytime she was on a moonsault, the fans really got for her. And even when she beat Bianca Belair this year, that was pretty much a huge win, considering not many people. Many people.
She beat her. She beat her clean. She beat the EST clean on a Monday night when they put on a clinic with that match. I honestly think that Io Sky does deserve to be on this list. I don't know about 10, but I mean, they should have probably at least moved it to 20, because I would have liked to have seen more. I didn't really get into the whole detail of the list, but do you think? You know what, Dion? I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think of the fact that Bianca Belair's number 6 and Jade Cargill's number 7? It seems to me that with a lot of the rankings, especially this past year, them two especially have been very neck and neck. Would you, I mean, considering that this is for individual superstars, would you want to pair them up and put them in the same ranking, or do you think this is valid as is?
Yeah, because I was looking at that one. It felt like, because they've been tied to the hip since Jade got there, since Jade made that main roster jump, right? So I felt like they were going to be, and they've held that tag team division down too. So I felt middle of the list may have been best for them so far. But yeah, them being tied together, I think that's probably the easiest, because I mean, Jade looks like $1 million when she hits the hot tag every time. So they're helping each other out. But yeah, I think middle of this list it's a good spot for them to be sort of paired together until one of them have that breakout moment. Well, Bianca's had hers, but we're just waiting for Jade to have that singles run too. Then we'll see her matriculate through the rest of this list as the years go by too. So yeah, and by the way, we'll Liv as number 1 through the help of Rhea. So there we go. Like in my mind, Rhea's like 1B right now. So cool.
1A, 1B.
So you saying she was better than Nia Jax this year?
Damn. Nia been really good. Hold on, wait. Right now it's been really good. Okay, let's move Rhea to 3. I'll go 3.
I'll definitely take that. I'll take that, because I'm not saying Mercedes shouldn't be in top 10, but 3 is very strong.
You're right. Nia Jax has had a hell of a year this year. And she's been entertaining. She's been fun to watch in the ring. Like she's great on social media too. Like just the stuff that people try to shoot at her, she has something to fire right back. I'm enjoying her run, because this was like her NXT run before she made
10 times better. Absolutely. I would definitely have to agree with that. Boza, to answer your question, because I know you're just dying to know, and inquiring minds want to know, what are Honey's thoughts on Mercedes being number 3? I'll tell you what, sir, I have no thoughts. As far as that goes, I feel like if you're looking at this list and then Mercedes Moné, besides, Mariah May has actually wrestled all year. I'll give her that. But Mercedes, I feel like she just needs to move back a little bit, just to move back up.
Where would you
further
put her?
in?
Where would you put her?
Mercedes in this list with this top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you rank her?
I'm giving her at least an 8 or 9. I'll give her at least an 8 or 9. That's just me personally. I mean, I feel like there's just a lot more to people chanting CEO 100 times and you dancing around and then appearing when you want to do matches, and then when you don't want to do matches, you're not around. I don't know, whatever. But the men's pro wrestling as well, and of course, congratulations to all the ladies. Of course, I'm just being silly and biased. No shade at all, but maybe a little. The men's pro wrestling pound for pound rankings is very, very interesting to me, because a lot of these are neck and neck. And you're right, there is a question of Sheamus. I think that he's undeserving of being on a list like this? I don't think so. Because of the name that is Sheamus, and because of the longevity of his career and how much he's done, because he has a lot of people like to sweep Sheamus under the rug like he's a scrub, and he's no scrub.
Nope.
He's responsible for a lot of the main roster talent being as good as they are, because he worked with them and helped train with them and things like that. And he's just getting ahead of the curve from coming back from recovering for himself. But I don't think it's a bad thing that Sheamus is on this list. I don't think it's a bad thing that anybody has made this list, because this list is absolutely awesome. And it's pretty much down to the wire. You have Cody Rhodes at number 1, Moxley number 2, Gunther number 3, Jey Uso 4, LA Knight, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, so on and so forth, Kevin Owens. This is a pretty solid list.
Is this for the year?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. That I'm not sure. It might be for the year.
That's why
I think it might be for the year.
That's why I have Sheamus in question. If it's all just overall, if it's not counting this year, then yeah, I don't have a problem with this list. But if it's like for this year, somebody could have went before Sheamus, just because like the fact he just got back.
That's true. I would put Jey Uso further up. I'm not gonna lie. I would put Jey Uso further up, because he's pretty much on fire. Out of everybody on this list, obviously besides our tribal chief, I would say he's probably one of the hottest on this list. As far as being the most consistent, and I think Gunther is pretty solid as well at number 3. But is there anything you guys would change about this list specifically? Courtney, I'll start with you.
And Courtney, can I throw this at you? With that, does John Moxley deserve to be at number 2? Because I don't know. I have not seen him. That's why I want to ask you first. So just with your opinion, could you also answer that question?
I know earlier in the year he was the IWPG champion, and he dropped it at Forbidden Door. And he was on Dynamite. He was in Japan. So that was kind of really hard, because they did show clips of him when he was in Japan and he fought consistently for that title. But after he dropped it, you haven't heard back from him since, until earlier this summer. I don't have nothing against Moxley. 2 seems a little bit odd, considering I get it with Japan and everything. But for me personally, if I had to pick any AEW star that had a breakout year, it would be Swerve Strickland. I would put on that list, because the minute he was champion, it just really opened a lot of opportunities, and also crossing over hip hop, and also really have a solid ring to his champion. And he was a fighting champion. I mean, he fought Hangman, Will Ospreay, Christian Cage, but that's just me.
You actually took the name out of my mouth, because Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland are not on this list, and I find that just a little surprising. Do you think that that's concerning at all, considering how popular Swerve has been, and even Will Ospreay, and putting on the matches that they've been putting on consistently all year?
I think it is a little bit concerning because I saw like Will Ospreay's matches in AEW, also seeing his archive when he was in New Japan, and also all the fans are all over Ospreay. The minute he won the international title, all the fans were going crazy. When he faced off against Swerve at Forbidden Door, they were going back and forth, neck and neck. And actually, that rivalry, because even though they're friends in real life, it took a little bit of a personal turn. It really looked like they had chemistry there. So that just seemed a little odd. And also considering they're pretty much over. So it just seems really odd to me. And nothing against, no shade against Moxley, but I just think like you don't have your other two guys who've been over in AEW this year in both Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, considering Swerve is venturing out in the hip hop world. He's venturing out in his concerts. He's venturing out into other opportunities.
Yeah, very good point. I think that there's a few names that could have been missing from this list as well, but I know it's pretty tough. I want to know really what they based their rankings on. Because the topic of discussion all the time that we have here is charisma versus in-ring ability, or is this a ranking of both?
Yeah, I
for you, yeah, Dion, go to you.
Yeah, I pulled it up just to see like how did they lead into this article, and they were just saying like who's lighting the pro wrestling world of fire, who's heat is on the rise, who gimmick is beginning to fall behind, and stuff like that. So twice monthly, they're checking in to determine who are the reigning kings and queens of the ring. So this is going to be a list that fluctuates throughout the year, apparently. But if I'm just thinking like off the 10 months that we've had so far, Drew McIntyre didn't crack the top 10, and he's
Drew McIntyre,
Seth Rollins pulled double duty at Mania, nothing there.
I mean, I'd even say CM Punk. Like I know how I feel about him.
As much as you, yeah. Right? So
CM Punk didn't make the list. Or and as much as I don't like him, but
Seth
Zayn deserved to be in this top 10. That dude put in
Look
work
at you.
this year.
Look at him.
Work this year.
Being honest.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, he at least deserved to be on this list.
But yeah, it just seeing how it's sort of built and how I guess they're tracking it, it feels fairly current for the last like 2 months, I suppose. So I don't know if we're basing it completely off the entire year yet.
I know somewhere if Sami Zayn were to see something like this, I know he'd probably say this to Council.
I got a lot left in the tank.
They should have let him win our championship, man. But that's
bro.
Mick Foley Jr. can still go, and he will not stop coming. But again, we could debate this list till we're blue in the face or blue as my room, and but we'd be here for hours, and we have so much more to get through. But congratulations to all the superstars that made this list. It was absolutely amazing, and shout outs to Uncrowned Combat for this cool little debate that gives us a little talking point. Moving on, speaking of rankings, Booker T, Hall of Famer, and of course a beloved friend here at WWT Live, has come out and named his women's wrestling Mount Rushmore. These are very, very interesting names, and these are names that you don't really see mentioned too much for a Mount Rushmore or especially by a Hall of Famer. So that's saying a lot. And the women that he has chosen is the sensational Sister Sherry, Sable, Lita, and everyone's favorite, well, my favorite especially, Trish Stratus, the Queen of Stratus faction. How are we feeling about the Hall of Famers women's Mount Rushmore? Dion, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, given Book's time in wrestling, it sort of pans out. He just had a tournament named after Sherry Martel, and manager of Harlem Heat. He gives her a lot of credit for that group. Lita and Trish, during a time where there was just more bra and panties matches than actual wrestling matches for women, they were the only ones there who main evented a Raw or was in a tag team with The Rock and Triple H or Stone Cold, whoever. So they were really moving that needle there. The Sable one sort of caught me off guard, but I kind of get the time period of it, right? Because here's the thing. After I saw this article today or this topic, I went back and watched that powerbomb that she gave Mark Merrow. effortlessly. Both did great on that. So I'm thinking, giving Books time and like his interaction with Sherry, and then all of with Lita and Trish, and they're moving the needle at that time. I mean, it's a solid list for his time, because I mean, I don't think he'd put any of like the active wrestlers now on his Mount Rushmore. So this makes perfect sense for me from his perspective. Maybe down the line, a few years from now, he'll do one with Bianca. He's do one with Charlotte. But as for right now, these were the needle. Yeah, these were the needle movers for him, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm almost positive this is of course from his perspective and from around his time, and especially our time with the Attitude Era, and even well in back into the 90s, and even the golden era with Sister Sherry. Courtney, how are we feeling about this list? And I know we all know that speaking Sable's name anywhere near WWE is kind of like taboo. She's really very much quiet and kind of not disappeared into the wind, but has just remained private, had taken away all affiliation with WWE. But how are you feeling about Sable being mentioned in someone's Mount Rushmore?
It's really interesting, because going back to Dion's comment, because I will say a lot of people do have mixed feelings when it comes to Sable, but she had a bigger reaction when you go back to her archive footage. She had a bigger reaction during that Attitude Era. It's like when her music hits, all the fans go crazy. When she was in Playboy, a lot of people went crazy. Even when she did a few power bombs, and even in the ring, that just like kind of set it off, because the King would always get excited when anytime Sable did a Sable bomb. So that really kind of emphasized the impact that she had, and especially during that specific period in the Attitude Era. Now, the last two are two of my favorite ladies. Seeing them, and I actually got to meet Trish a couple months ago. It's really nice to see the impact given these two ladies have main evented, of course, The Rock and Triple H. One of them teamed up with Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit in tag team action. So they really. And also TNA and the Hardy Boys. I mean, you can't go wrong with those matches when they manage them prospectively. And of course, we can't forget Sensational Sherry, because she paved the way for a lot of women. And even to this day, a lot of women recognize the impact Sensational Sherry has made.
Absolutely. Sensational Sherry was very well remembered, especially when Shawn Michaels had turned heel and brought out the HBK persona, and she was actually the originator of the theme song before Shawn Michaels did. And I personally loved Sherry. She was one of my favorite like women heels, especially of that time. She didn't have to do much to make you like not to make she didn't have to do much to sell for you to believe her. Like, you knew that she was sinister, she was sensational, and she was just that woman. She would stand on her 2 feet. She would listen. I think Sensational Sherry is definitely one of the very most underrated, not too mentioned legends in the women's game. Especially now being that there is a tournament named after her, it's saying so much. She's also a Hall of Famer. She was a wrestler herself back in the day as well. So much impact from there. But I was really surprised to see Sable in this list, because that's not a name you hear too often. But what about Councilman? I'm going to ask you this question: how impactful in the 90s, or how much did it have an impact on you in the 90s, especially with Trish and Lita trying to push the boundaries of what women's wrestling was supposed to look like back then, considering that they were coming out of that Divas era, but still kind of in it with the evening gowns and broad panties matches, to then evolving and becoming women main eventing on Monday Night Raw for the first time ever. How much does that say about the impact of Trish and Lita? And do you think that they are rightfully on this Mount Rushmore?
Oh, they're like rightfully deserving to be on here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think they were the two that learned how to find the medium between those, of where they were allowed to put on wrestling shows, but also allowed to go to the appeal of what WWE creative at the time was trying to push. So I think that started to even trickle down more with other people. Because like at first you'd have like say for instance like Jacqueline or Terry Runnels or like Ivory and Jackie could go.
And
at the time it was just like they had them more as just like, okay, so we're just having y'all as managers or for y'all to be in bikinis and stuff like that. And it's like y'all can have like a match or two, but that's it. But it was like Trish and Lita where you actually started seeing like feuds. Like I remember that was the first women's feud I saw for a wrestling match, not for y'all coming out slapping each other. Then it's like, oh, we're gonna do bra and panties. It was like, no, we'll have bra and panties too, but we're also gonna have this match. And it's also going to make me want to see this women's title match on the line. So, and they were some of the first where you didn't get up and walk out. Like you'd see people stay and watch their match go on. And I think that just helped to get for the others to get behind there to where you could have folks like a Molly Holly come through. Ivory now get to showcase her stuff, or like even like Jazz to come in. So they rightfully deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore. They paved the way.
I definitely think it's safe to say that all 4 women on this list, without any of them, these girls walked so the ones now could run. And women's wrestling is definitely running wrestling. And it's alive and well, and I love it.
You know I got to ask.
Go ahead.
Y'all all saw the story. Who's y'all Mount Rushmore?
Women's Mount Rushmore?
I know y'all thought about it. I know y'all thought about it.
Who would like to go first? The floor is y'all. For y'all.
Oh man.
Dion, I know you got it written down.
If I had to put around Rushmore. All right, are we saying current or all time?
Yeah, like give
all time.
Jackie's on mine. Jacqueline's on mine. On my she takes up a face.
I think I might have mine. I think I do.
I know this might be
with maybe a dark horse or an honorable mention, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna say Bianca Belair. I'm gonna say this is tough. I'm gonna say China. I'm gonna be Bianca Belair, China, Becky Lynch, and I gotta throw an old school one in there. I would have to put maybe Sister Sherry on there. I think I would. Like just like, you know, like Dylan says here, she should be on there alone for Sexy Kurt, not, you know. That'll make your ankle hurt. I think I would have those 4 right now, and then maybe a couple of dark horse picks. But that I'm going with it on the fly since you asked.
Oh my god.
Mine's is China, Trish Stratus, AJ Lee, and Charlotte Flair.
AJ Lee, I love that. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
That's a really.
What about you guys? I mean, we could always make this another debate for another time.
I wrote mine down. I scratched some names off. Jacqueline, Charlotte, China, and I put Lita there.
Okay.
I kind of want to put Becky in there too.
Listen, Becky was definitely up there for me. I'm not gonna lie. Becky was up there, but
yeah. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer, and there's a lot of perspective. But I think Becky definitely is a needle mover. And when you're a needle mover, you definitely need to be on somebody's Mount Rushmore. Like I was there when she won 2 belts, and that was pretty epic to see the first women main event, WrestleMania. And
Jackie, Charlotte, Becky, China. That's my last.
Ooh.
Jackie, Charlotte, Becky, China.
That's a good list. That's a really good list.
I said, who did I say? I said Bianca, Trish,
China,
Bianca, China, Trish, and Sherry. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I think I'm gonna stick with that. I think I'm gonna have to stick with that. Trish was definitely one of my top favorites. Girl, like she was just everything. Especially, even though it wasn't even though it's questionable a lot of the things that she did when she was part of the Vince McMahon story and Linda McMahon and all that stuff, but it was just so entertaining. It was so good. She was such a good heel.
Yeah. And you like watching her matches. Like she had good matches.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. And she could talk and like like hello, she's freaking gorgeous. Like all these women, it's beauty, grace, and wrestling. Like I feel like those women definitely paved the way for that. But shout outs to Booker T for creating a great talking point, because we could be here all day talking about who our Mount Rushmore is, and especially if you're on the current roster, especially we could go for days about that, I'm sure.
I know.
But this was definitely awesome, and I really liked this Mount Rushmore pick. It was definitely some new faces that you're not really used to seeing, but yeah, this was really awesome. Sorry guys. And then so we have next up. Oh, all right. Let's get into some of these comments, because you know what? There's a lot of really good comments I see here. Hassan Terrell, thanks for coming in. Jeffrey says this is a lot to think about. Dylan says Mickie James should get more credit than she gets. Same as Victoria. I think I would have to agree. I think some of those would be my dark horses.
Yeah, Mickie James is definitely a dark horse pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Victoria's finisher alone should probably get her in the
Christopher Leclerc here has a more recent Mount Rushmore. He says Cora Jade, Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Charlotte Flair. That's not bad for a recent generational Mount Rushmore at all.
Cora Jade
Patrick says Miss Elizabeth.
She was actually on my Mount Rushmore. She's on my Mount Rushmore. Miss Elizabeth.
You want to talk about impactful in the 90s and what? Like the woman of wrestling didn't even have to wrestle. Like
that's her
the best valet.
Yeah, she gets her mountain.
Like
that's a whole different category. She like up there.
She gets her own mountain.
Yeah,
Miss Elizabeth definitely gets her own mountain.
Miss Elizabeth was like in a whole different category.
She was a sleeper pick. She's actually a sleeper pick on my Mount Rushmore.
Dylan, you are very, very funny. You are funny.
I mean, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, Dylan, we go.
Special Little Nobody says Leilani Kai, Sherry Martel, Bull Nakano, and AJ Lee. That's a very, very good list. I could definitely put some respect on that list. Speaking of put some respect, DM Hunk says put some respect on La Luchador's name. Damn it, indeed. But like I said, we could be here till we're blue in the face or as blue as my room, but we will be here for hours. Let's moving up. Speaking, since we're just kicking it off with more women's news, let's just keep doing it. To yesterday, 25 years ago, yesterday was the anniversary of the first ever and only women's intercontinental champion, and China had defeated Jeff Jarrett to become the first ever to do it. And I have so many gripes with why WWE has not put out a women's intercontinental title yet. I know they're going in that direction. But I just need them to move a little quicker, because this has been a long time coming. They're already ushering in the North American title for the women's in NXT. I would hope that they would at least do the same for the women. But shout outs to China. What a trailblazer, the ninth wonder of the world, one of the original members of D Generation X, changed the landscape of the women's division, pretty much dominated everybody on the roster at that time. And need I say more? She was a legend in her own right, Hall of Famer indeed. And it's always good to put a highlight and celebrate a great accolade. And I remember watching that live when that happened. I was just like, holy cow, we got women's intercontinental championship. Like, women could win these belts along with the guy. Like, how is this possible? Like, it was just crazy. It was unbelievable, unprecedented, unheard of, and it was just so historical. I'm gonna go around the table and ask you guys, and even those in the chat, what are some of your favorite memories or moments with Joni Lauder, aka China? Courtney, I'll start with you.
I had the chance to watch China's archive footage, because fortunately I was a little too young at that time, but I do remember. I remember one of the few she had was against a debuting Chris Jericho for that Intercontinental title. I watched the promo for that, so that was something to make me think about. Of course, when she did Eddie Guerrero, Mamacita.
Latino Heat, the original Latino Heat.
Yes.
Okay, Rhea Ripley and Dom took notes heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What about for you guys? What are some of your favorite moments with China, Dion, or
Yeah,
Councilman?
my first memory is like her first appearance, like when she was just ragdolling Terry Runnels. Like that was like,
Yes.
who in the world is this? And she just kept
Yes.
showing up every week after that. And then the fact that Triple H and Shawn Michaels had her as their bodyguard essentially just made DX that much better. And
So much better.
She stood up to guys every single time. The master of the low blow, the master of the forearm. Like she was in there. And the other one is was it WrestleMania 13, 14? She was handcuffed, or Sergeant Slaughter sort of had her like, hey, you can't interfere in Owen and Triple H's match. And she was just, I think she broke some handcuffs. She just did these other things like that where you saw the power of her. And then she obviously went solo and did her thing with Latino Heat. And that again, she's had like 3 or 4 acts within that run of her being like full time. And I think after this, she actually held the women's title for a little while too. So
she did.
China was just amazing, man. Her entrance was great. She had a pyro gun, man. Come on.
Oh
yes. Yeah, listen, I was just gonna say those were some of my favorite China moments. Was seeing her entrance. Seeing her entrance alone was my moment for China, because I would just love when she came out. First of all, her entrance was fire.
Theme song was good.
Second, right? This theme song is sickening in the best of ways. And the minute people heard the note hit, huge pop. Huge pop for this girl. And coming out with the bazooka looking like Wonder Woman, looking like Xena, the warrior princess. She was absolutely everything. And shout outs to Joni Laura, and rest in peace, lovely angel. What a wonderful, wonderful career of China. I definitely would say Terry Runnels was another one of those memorable moments, because it was like, for a while, China was just a dominant figure that didn't move. She was just like a silent killer, an assassin, that all Triple H and Shawn had to do was give her a look and she'd make a move. But remember, to the point where she wasn't even doing anything, and then all of a sudden, like, the crowd would like get up or be like, oh, what's she doing? What's she about to do? They, like, as soon as she walked over or she got closer, or they would just zoom in the camera on her, like, she was just absolute phenomenon. For sure. Like that's what you define as iconic, when you're able to create moments even alone with just your presence. Councilman, you have any thoughts for China?
Oh yeah, she earned the title of being the 9th wonder of the world.
No doubt.
I remember 1999, man. China had a year. She was the first woman in the Royal Rumble. Came in at number 30, and you had never seen that before. Like you said, the pop she got when she came out,
man.
I think that same year she won King of the Ring.
And oh my God! Wait, did she win
that? Yeah, she won. She won. Yeah, I remember, because she won, became the number 1 contender, and then she had to face Mankind, and Mankind beat her, and he became the number 1 contender.
Oh man, Boza, we need the fact checks on that. I'm not sure why I don't remember that, but that's a pretty good memory there, Councilman. That's taking us back. That's taking us back a little bit.
Yeah, if memory serves me correct, I think she lost it like to Mankind. Either they were the finals and she won, or I think she won and then she had to face him and they took it from her.
Okay, nice.
That's the thing. You always felt like she had a chance. Like when she walked out at 30, in your mind, you was like, "Oh crap, she could probably win this thing." Like she
now I will say this:
she had a real chance.
History could repeat itself. I ain't gonna lie, because if they worked it right, this could happen.
Yeah, Boza said she made it to the quarterfinals of the 99 King of the Ring.
Okay,
so that's like, and she won a hardcore triple threat match the week before, beat Triple H, lost to Mankind. Mankind and Triple H had a no contest. That's so crazy. Why don't I remember that? That's such a blur.
99 was a hell of a year, though. That was
99 was a crazy year. That was 99. 99 was the cusp year of like, I want to watch this, but I know I shouldn't be. But it's cool because my parents are letting me watch it, and they're watching it with me. It was one of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I would. not to give away too much of my age, but I guess I'm gonna have to. But at 99, I was 11. Okay, just put it that way.
We had Cash Money taking over. Like, look,
I know, right?
None of this. He couldn't stop none of this from getting in the house. And then my dad was a DJ. It was even worse. I'm like, yo, y'all not stopping this.
99, you just had to be there, man. You had to be there and aware.
You had to be there. It was quite the time. Speaking of, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, could y'all see, because of this happen, history repeating itself? And let's say, for instance, like somehow within like the next year, Dom becomes Intercontinental Champion, and then Rhea beats him to become the Intercontinental Champion.
For a great storyline, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Storyline wise, yes.
That's wild. I would listen. Take my money. I'm with it. I
want to see everybody's opinion about that. I was like,
her only feud would probably just be with Dom, though. But it makes perfect sense. I'm on board.
I'm not mad at it. Absolutely, I'm not mad at that at all. And speaking of being on board. Apparently, WWE is on board with making plans to hold an event at ECW's home arena, which is the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, where the birthplace of ECW happened, and all kinds of legends and the like have faced there. There's a belief that it will possibly be NXT. NXT will be taking place there November 6th, but none of that has been confirmed as of yet. But it seems like we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens there. And of course, good old Dave Meltzer had a little quote about it because, he did report this. Let's hope it's true. WWE, quote unquote, WWE has a date booked for the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. While not confirmed, the belief is that it will be on November 6th, which would be the NXT tapings on Wednesday, the day after the election. The fact there will be a show has been confirmed by many, just not the date. It will be on the unfamiliar night. NXT will be on the unfamiliar night, and I presume they'll load up going head-to-head with AEW. It makes sense. The idea of NXT from ECW arena for the first time will get enough buzz to help grow the audience in an attempt to beat AEW. Now, I don't think WWE is really thinking about beating AEW, considering that they kind of already are, but whatever you say, Meltzer. But that's really cool news. The 2300 Arena is a legendary place. I was actually there this past year in Philly, where they had the Busted Open Radio party with Dave LaGreca and Nick Nemeth. Dudley Boys were there. Sandman was there. He literally walked right past me. I'm like talking to people, and then I look over, and he's like walking by with a camera person and doing his entrance with the beer and the kendo stick. And I was just like, oh, hey, that's cool. All right. Sandman just walking by. Casual day in the office. You gotta love it. But shout outs to WWE making the moves, continue to make those moves, and to have it at the ECW arena. Do I smell Paul Heyman? Maybe is that why the wise man hasn't been around? I'm not sure. We would know that he would have something to do with this, but we will see and stay tuned. And hopefully our buddy Dave Meltzer is on the nose with this one. Moving on to this. I was like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? We have WWE also planning to debut a Netflix documentary, which is going to be giving a lot of behind the scenes of what's going on during the tapings or shows on the main roster, maybe even NXT. Not too much detail has been released about it, but Nick Khan did make a statement saying that it will be debuting soon, and we'll just have to stay tuned for that. Got a lot going on with wrestling, considering that they're making that move to Netflix in January. So I'm sure they're just getting us all prepped up for that. Any thoughts on another WWE Netflix documentary?
I'm always torn with these. I do like I like the stories of every wrestler that we have. I love the A&E documentaries and all that, and the rivalry and stuff like that too. But sometimes I know I'm older, but I still don't like to peek behind the curtain too much. You know what I mean? Like that's like I still haven't watched the WrestleMania documentary that they did.
Oh wow, it's on YouTube too.
Yeah, I know, right? So I still, but it takes me back to like what was the one back in the day, Beyond the Mat? Like that's when we finally got to sort of see like behind the scenes of wrestling, like The Rock and Mankind putting their I Quit match together, or seeing everything else that goes into that. Again, I know I'm old. I know it's entertainment, but at the same time, I don't like a lot of the peeks behind the curtains. I can go without it most times, but that's just like a personal thing for me. I know a lot of people like to delve into like what's going on backstage, or like what was happening after this match and whatever. But I don't know. I like the mystery of still believing. You know, I still like that. Undertaker can still shoot lightning out of his hands in my book.
Councilman, any thoughts on the behind the scenes documentary with Netflix coming?
I guess I'm in the middle about it. The same kind of with Dion. I'm just like, okay. It's cool, but I'm also still now a little bit skeptical about it, just because after what I've seen with like the McMahon documentary and stuff. So I'm just like, I'd rather y'all. I'm kind of like Dion, man. Keep the curtain closed. Like, keep the curtain closed, man. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to know how the sausage is made, as they say.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. You know what? I just think that this is just something for them to attract more eyes towards the Netflix streaming service, being that they're going to be joining them in January. This is just something that's more of a marketing play, and an advertising play, just to boost up those ratings and numbers for them. But I do like peeling back behind the curtain, because it's something we didn't get often. When we were in our day and age, a lot of you kids have internet now and stuff like that. We didn't have that. We had the newspaper, or you had to find out the next week. Okay, that's all we had. But I think it's cool every now and then to peel back the curtain just a little bit. Not all the way, not all the time. Maybe after every big PLE or big 4 PLE, something like that. I think that would be doable. Courtney, any final thoughts for the documentary that WWE is going to be putting out for behind the scenes on Netflix?
This is always interesting because it does give us an inside look on behind the scenes, but sometimes you don't want to go a little bit too far. And that's where it kind of, you don't want to put a lot out there. And I think from Netflix, from like PR and marketing standpoint, I understand why they want to do it. I understand why they want to do it from that age, but you kind of like want to peel it, but you don't want to do too farther along.
True. Yeah, just reveal, give us some cool deeds, give us maybe something we don't know, instead of giving us a lot of things that we already kind of know.
Yeah, but this is a good intro. Yeah, it's a good intro to people who, like you said, when they move to Netflix, people who haven't really watched it.
More so for the casual fan, or and the fans that haven't actually watched wrestling but hear about it and
like, oh, this is how it's done. Yeah,
definitely. Let's see here. You know what, guys? I think we're going to need a minute. Let's take a break. And here's a message from our sponsors. And you guys should definitely go to WWT Talk Pod and get some merch as well.
This episode of Women's Wrestling Talk has been brought to you by All Caribbean Wrestling. Catch the wave. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views, or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1.
Hey, yo, you. Yeah, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen, not knowing what you want to do, like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to www.talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Shit.
Cop that merch, support the cause, and be part of the team. All things www.talkpod.com and all our crew merch that we got there. And shout outs to our sponsors, our amazing sponsors at All Caribbean Wrestling. They are getting ready for Fight for Paradise. Is that what it? Yes, Fight for Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening this weekend in the Bahamas. Shout outs to the boss lady TK and the professor doing double duty on the road and also pulling out that commentary work. So that is going to be something you would want to see. So check out all their socials. Now, let's see. We got a new Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new Hall of Famer in the TNA Hall of Fame. Rhino is going to be heading into the Hall of Fame, being inducted at and that for the countdown to Bound for Glory, Saturday, October 26th. And they just recently made the announcement. For those of you who know, it's more than just TNA. He's an ECW legend, WWE legend as well. What do we feel about Rhino joining the TNA Hall of Fame, guys?
Well deserved.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, like that's it. Yeah, like
King of the Gore. King of
the
Gore.
Sure. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yes.
It's still going. Still going. Like
and the fact that he was still going. You guys remember that little tenure he had in NXT? Or who did he team up with? Who was he? He was teamed up with
Heath Slater.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my god. Like
I got kids.
Wait, but not Brock Lesnar saying, I don't give a shit about your kids, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that was the closest thing I wish he'd have said, man. Fuck the kids.
Shut him down. He shut them down. But yes, lots of shout outs and congratulations to the legend that is Rhino. You are now in the Hall of Fame, sir. You can now call yourself a Hall of Famer. This is so well deserved, as the whole panel pretty much agrees, and we just want to send him some good energy out there. Yeah, I could definitely hear Paul Heyman in my head screaming gore. What like we said, guys, it was a time you just had to be there. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Absolutely. Moving on to some more news. Now this I really can't wait to get into, and I honestly wish that the professor was here for this, because I know he would have lots to say about the subject. But Queen Aminata has given some praise to Mercedes Moné in a statement that she made on the socials, talking about how she watched her and pretty much studied her work and always admired her and things like that. But also towards the end of her message says, I'll see you down the road. What could this possibly mean for the future of Queen Aminata? And will we see her versus Mercedes Moné again, Courtney?
You're going to see her again in the future, because that match I watched with her, she looked very nervous against Queen Aminata. She thought she was nervous against Chris Statlander. Some of these ladies in AEW, I would be a little bit nervous. And also the fact she gave a headbutt to Camille, and Camille looked a little off and shocked that somebody gave her a headbutt. She's somebody I would not want to mess with. And trust me, it will not be the last time you will see Queen Aminata going against Mercedes.
Yeah, it's safe to say that Queen Aminata is a huge problem for the future of Mercedes Moné, and could possibly be to the detriment of her title reign. Councilman, how are we feeling about the comments made by Queen Aminata, and what do you see for the future for the Queen?
It was respectful, like it should be. Mercedes has put in the work, and I think it's been enough time to where, you could model yourself and watch her to be able to do some dope stuff, especially the matches she's had in WWE. What I think this also proves, because I also watched this match, is that Mercedes is gonna have to step it up. Personality wise and money wise, you got it, but Aminata was giving you the business, and I don't mean you selling it to put up. Like, she was running circles around you.
It looked good.
And I'll say, like, Aminata just getting started. So from a not like, what happens when Thunder Rosa want to take you on? Like, this is I think this is where all the stuff that we've been talking about, all the stuff, even when Honey puts on the shades, I think after seeing this match, it's just up for Queen Aminata. And I think it's really going to show, if you're claiming that you're the best in the world, these women are about to make you prove it.
And I know if there was a moment where Queen Aminata could possibly be up for the title, I know Professor will be dancing on somebody's dance floor like this.
To the ring by Dakota Kai and the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, representing Damage Control. She is the WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky.
Oscar just a lot sometimes.
giving all of the Asuka vibes for the Queen Aminata, but here we are. I think we're definitely speaking something into existence for the future of Queen Aminata. She has definitely been on the come up for quite some time, and she could absolutely go. She puts on clinics in the ring every single time, I would say, and yeah, I definitely believe and would have to agree with Eric Isaac here that Aminata has definitely a great and very bright future ahead of her.
And it's also nice. And it's also nice to see her on Dynamite, by the way.
Yes,
nice
that too. Finally being, to be able to see the titles be defended on TV, that's nice too. And as you know, we mentioned a client's name and he appears somehow. The mayor is joining us in the chat. And yes, you did. Yes, you did hear your client being mentioned. And don't worry, we were keeping it pretty clean. I will say that was pretty clean, right? I kept it pretty clean for sure.
Nah, she was just talking about her mama.
You better, you know what? Don't you do that. I don't go for nobody's mamas. Okay, I don't do that.
That lets you know she don't like Mercedes like that, because she was just talking about all kind of stuff right now.
But yeah, shout outs to Queen Aminata, and hopefully we see more of her versus Mercedes Moné, and we'll see what bodes for the champion going forward, because I think Queen Aminata is definitely a potential contender to take the title away from her. Just saying, you heard it here first. But on to some more serious news. We have a health update from Bryan Danielson. As we all know, he retired at Wrestle Dream, was defeated by Jon Moxley for the title, and his full-time career is now over. He is set to go undergo an MRI to see if he needs neck surgery. Of course, it's been something that he's been battling with for quite some time, even before AEW. He's going to have to get an MRI done and see the damage, and it's not looking good. It's saying it's possibly worsened. Hopefully he won't need surgery and could possibly heal up with some stem cell treatment, but it's looking like surgery might be the route. So we wish Bryan Danielson well on his recovery, and relax. You can finally relax and put your feet up and be with your family, because it has literally been the final countdown and a stellar career for Bryan Danielson, and we've spoke about it here many times. And yes, so we wish all the best to Bryan Danielson and his family during his retirement. Now we got
hold on. Let's
what?
Yep, for real.
What are you doing to me?
Y'all know Daniel Bryanson is coming back. Y'all know that man.
Part-time.
Y'all know
part-time, not full-time, right? Part-time.
That man is in the Undertaker this thing, and y'all know it. That man can't get that up.
I don't know if I
do that surgery, and they like, yeah, no, you good. So can I do one more match? And he gonna be back.
I don't know if I can honestly handle that. If that happens, I will have lots of words, and a lot of people are not gonna like me. But we're keeping it cute, keeping it classy. It's Friday. I gotta get ready for SmackDown watch along. So that only means one thing: our OTC is in the house. You better acknowledge your tribal chief at 8:00, because we got the Honey Night SmackDown watch along tonight. OTC's in the building. Jimmy Uso's in the building. We got the Timu Bloodline in the building as well. And I said this on my Honey Pop predictions earlier, but I wonder who else would be in the house. SmackDown's a pretty big house. Just saying.
Where are they at tonight? Where are they tonight?
They are in South Carolina. Was it Carolina? I believe they're hold on. Part-time. You're very funny. Count said damn it, I can't find it fast enough. My computer is so stupid.
I think he said
Columbia.
South Carolina.
Columbia. It's Columbia, South Carolina. So I was right. South Carolina. I was like, I knew it was South Carolina. I did see it earlier. But yes, it will be taking place there. You know, I mean, I'm not saying anything's guaranteed, but you never know. People like to pop up these days, and sometimes you got to pop out and show them, like Kendrick Lamar said. Cody Rhodes will also be in the house as well. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of the aftermath of this fallen friendship between Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes that has happened so abruptly, and it's quite concerning. But
is
it for most? I'm not saying it's concerning I don't mean for me. I'm just saying it's concerning for a lot of the viewers.
I mean,
and the Cody Crybaby.
It's kind of
come on, like I'm saying, like so Dion, I'll say you. Imagine if it's you and some dude you've been beefing with for like 2 years ran you over with a golf cart, and then all of a sudden you see him and Doc on the basketball court playing in a tournament together, and they win the prize money. How would you feel?
Kevin you're gonna make me say it, aren't you? Kevin Owens is in the right on this one, man. Like, he seems like
he is.
I get it.
He is.
I get it. You know, like
y'all gonna be mad after all of this time. Kevin's the only one out of all these people that's been getting his ass whooped by the bloodline for years. Okay, I would be sick of everybody.
And Roman are friends, though. It's not like they're friends.
No,
they may have teamed up.
You could, bro. You could have. Doc could have easily came to you to be in that tournament with you to take on this new team. This man went to the enemy and said, "I need you to have my back." Well, you got 2 other people that could have had your back.
Yeah, but storyline wise, how they're showing it and playing it out has been great. The cell phone footage from the initial attack on Cody, and then the surveillance camera attacking Randy, and then whatever message he's supposed to be like dropping without Kevin Owens supposed to be dropping without the WWE's approval. Like I like this sort of I guess realism to this storyline. Like everything else is just hidden footage or cell phone camera. It's pretty creative. So I appreciate them going another route than just the usual blow up in the ring and beat down
or the mystery attacker thing. I can't stand that either.
Hey, Triple H did on Shawn Michaels is still a classic to this day, though.
That will forever be the sneak attack of all.
Triple H just laughing when he.
Maybe besides Rikishi and The Rock, I did it for The Rock with Stone Cold and everything.
Yeah, I did it for The Rock.
I ain't gonna lie, I would have loved to seen Kevin Owens in the whole Druid outfit. It was me, Cody. It was me the whole time.
The best part about that reveal is JR right at the end of it. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch. JR had the perfect reaction for that.
Son of a
hilarious. On top of these 2 things that are going to be transpiring tonight, we also have the best out of 7 series between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes again tonight. Ooh. And we also have apparently, from what I'm seeing here, and it was just posted an hour ago on WWE, the Motor City Machine Guns have already made their way to WWE territory. They are there on SmackDown, and they have just signed a contract with Nick Aldis and SmackDown. So if you guys check out my Honey Pot predictions on the socials, I definitely predicted Motor City Machine Guns to be answering the call for the challenge that he had laid out for Legado de Fantasma. But it turns out now that they will be in a triple threat tag team match with Legado de Fantasma. Well, they're calling them Los Garza now. I'm not sure why. But Motor City Machine Guns, Legado de Fantasma, as well as A-Town Down Under. I'm wondering what else we're going to get, especially from the women's side. I'm really curious to see how much this story between Tiffy and Nia Jax has transpired. Even Naomi, big 2 out of 3. What's next for them? Or maybe some Chelsea Green. I don't know. Anything like that would be nice. But nothing was advertised, so we shall see. There's also the Dynamite preview. Do we have slides for those, Councilman?
Dynamite.
Or did I miss them?
No.
Oh,
not for. No.
Wait, it's not Dynamite.
Rampage. I mean,
Rampage. Excuse me, Rampage. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what day it is. It's Friday. I do know what day it is.
Rampage still tomorrow?
No, tomorrow's Collision.
Yeah, tomorrow's Collision.
So what? So nothing on AEW tonight, right?
I mean, Rampage is tonight.
Yeah, Rampage. Yeah,
that's still come on.
Yeah,
It's you know what, Councilman.
No. I'm not throwing jabs. Remember, they talked about like they were gonna be getting rid of Rampage, right?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah,
but
apparently it was taped already for it was already taped, I think, for the October 18th show, which is tonight. We got Mark Briscoe versus the Butcher, Kyle O'Reilly versus Aaron Solo, Anna Jay versus Trisha Dora, and Private Party versus the Eminem Collection, Mansoor and Mason Madden, which I'm kind of really digging right now, those two, now that they have Rico on their side. I think that's a really, really cool little plot twist for their story. But yep, all of that will be transpiring. Unfortunately, we don't have slides, but it's all good.
My bad,
still,
Courtney.
Still got to record the news. But you can check out all the news of AEW with Courtney, because she will be doing a watch along tonight as well. And we got also the Honey Night SmackDown watch along. So make sure you guys stay tuned and stick around a little bit for us, because we're gonna be getting to all of that good stuff. Now, I think that pretty much just about covers our day. We do have to get ready for these watch alongs, so I'm going to leave the floor to my panel here. And Dion, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, over on All Star Fandom Show on TikTok and Instagram, all pop culture, gaming, comics, everything under that fandom umbrella. We talk about it and review. Also over on YouTube as well, All Star Fandom Show there. Weekly videos, and on TikTok weekly every Wednesday. So come chop it up with us over there. We're just shooting the breeze. Let's talk some Green Lantern stuff too. So
nice. Love that. Courtney, how can everybody find you, my dear?
They can always find me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You won't see me next Monday and Wednesday on WWT Live because I have to handle stuff in the PR world. But I will be doing my watch along for Dynamite next Wednesday, because the road to Full Gear is starting to heat up a bit. So you do not want to miss that. You can also follow me here on Twitter and Instagram on @CourtneyNJ11 for any updates, what I'm doing right now. And feel free to take a look on any incoming projects that I have.
Excellent. Councilman, my digital tag team partner, where can the good people find you?
They can find me at Roxy Deserves Better.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, you can also look for my live that's coming out, where I'm going to be talking with the folks from PWI about just, why they don't like Hispanic wrestlers. We going all the way in. We're gonna make this a scandal. You know what I'm saying? And then why wasn't the pound for pound? Why wasn't no melanated people in there? I'm stirring the pot in the counterclockwise way of what Honey's.
But there was Bianca Jade Cargill was in there. Men's. Excuse me, I apologize. Apologies, sir.
Yeah. Because Swerve deserved better. Will Ospreay, even though he's not he one of us. He's one of us. Let's just throw that out there. He's definitely with Cody Rhodes in the
Uncrowned Combat, I would think that it's safe to say this is how the councilman feels.
Oh, would you look at? Oh, wait. Unfortunately,
it's the knuckle sandwich for me.
Never gets old.
It's the knuckle sandwich.
It's
the knuckle sandwich. I'm sorry, I couldn't help
Scott
it.
Steiner with the minutes, man.
I technically secretly did that for Dion because I knew he would thoroughly enjoy it.
Thank you,
But Councilman, anywhere else they could find you, your socials, no Pop Rock City.
Okay.
All right. Well, then I guess this is a perfect way to end the show. You guys can follow me here and find me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with the WWT Live crew. Also, catch my Honey Pop predictions on all my socials, and like and subscribe to the Wrestling with Honey podcast on YouTube. All things Wrestling with Honey TikTok, Wrestling with Honey Facebook, Wrestling with Honey Instagram. Follow me. Let's shoot the shit. Chat it up with me about wrestling. And don't forget, stay tuned. We got our Honey Night watch along, SmackDown watch along for tonight, coming in 30 minutes. Shout outs to everybody in a chat, special little nobodies. Honey coated knuckle sandwiches. Wow. Jeffrey, Dylan, cousin Ron, love you guys. Let's see. I said Jeffrey, Boza, Lewis Johnson, better late than never. Always love having you. Eric, Isaac, even Mr. Dyer. Hope you found another podcast to listen to since you're sick of us. Not sure why you're here if you are sick of us, but all power to you and have a great weekend and God bless you. Zach Minger, thank you for joining. We have Mayor Said in the house, sneaking on in the chat as well. Let's see. I don't like missing anybody. Press J, Easy Not. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. You know, we can't do this without your energy. Clay Lewis. I'm seeing a lot of new names here. Christopher Leclerc, Rufus. Appreciate all of the energy. Love having you guys. Don't forget to check out all things www.talkpod.com for all of our cool merch and interviews and the like and all things on the socials. And shout outs to our amazing sponsors at All Caribbean Wrestling. Hoping that they are going to have a successful event, which I know they will, and put on a successful show. Fight for Paradise in the Bahamas. Shout outs to the boss lady, TK, the real TK, and the professor. The parents are out and about doing their thing on the road, and we love to see it. We love to support the team. But for now, you guys are listening to Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet. And make sure you acknowledge your tribal chief today.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.